Brother Julian,
Hey,
welcome
what's
into
up,
the
boss?
Revenue Mentor, my boy.
Thank you for having me, Chris. I really appreciate you for bringing me on.
Bro, listen, I appreciate you, Julian. When we met up for the Fresh and Fit meetup and I got a chance to hang out with you at the Airbnb, sitting down with you was some legendary status, my boy. I learned a whole lot from you. I've seen how you can build a home. I've seen you focus. I've seen that you are very selected by our feminine counterparts. They fucking love you, if you know what I'm saying, my boy.
Yes, sir, man. There's many of me to go around, but not of them. There's little of them. There's one of me, so
Big
it's
facts.
very dynamic that way.
And then, of course, bro, all the boys, we know you as 313 Tarzan, Hercules in the building. Bro, please take it away. Introduce them to who you are, how old you are, where you are, and why you came down here.
Hi, guys. My name is Julian. I am 26 years old. I am from Michigan currently and was born and raised here all my life. And a little about me. I come from a Romanian background. My dad's Ukrainian as well, so we come from a very big family. There's seven of us, five sisters. And huge family all the way around. Brotherhood is what I preach on a daily basis to everybody because there's something you have to experience it. You cannot preach it until you experience it because these are the things that really bring people together. The bond is where you want to be at. And it's literally one of the best things that I will say by far that you can move in society nowadays. We're not in the 1940s anymore where you can buy a regular house, by working a regular job. You need a team in place in life to actually move. And with brothers that think alike and that you bond with, literally the best thing you can do moving forward in life. And I mean, that's literally what I preach on a daily basis.
And based on a conversation what we have in your real life, can you actually tell me and people that are just getting to learn you about how you live with your brothers or how you treat your brothers?
Yeah, I mean, literally me and my brothers, we all wash each other from, looking out financial wise, literal from moving things. It could be anything simple as, hey, I need you to take me to the airport. I have my brother right here already. He could take me. I don't need to rely on an Uber when he can come and he could just do it. Like per se, if he's busy, then maybe I can go move around with things. But if there's seven people in a household that thinks exactly like you in a mindset of where you're at, I mean, you're just moving literal buildings to building. You're moving up in the world faster than opposed to one person, moving down a place. So I mean, honestly, it's literally the best, and I encourage everybody to kind of have a band of brothers around you to actually have the same goal and mindset in mind, because the goal is where will lead everything in reality for you and atmosphere change.
And for you guys that are just meeting Julian for the first time, he's being super modest, man. I have a conversation with this guy. He says, listen, not only did I build this home with my hands, but if I were to leave right now, I would give this home to my brothers. Can
Correct,
you please
100%.
talk a little bit more about that? Like, why is it that you're so deep into brotherhood and family and bond, which,
Because
to
I
be
think
honest, is rare these days?
100% it is, bro. And I love how you brought that up, Chris, because the thing is, with a lot of people, they don't understand. It's literally washing, like everybody says, washing one hand washes the other. It's literally the same exact thing, the same concept. So for me, I look at it as if I'm doing this, karmic retribution is a big thing. That's a huge thing. Whoever you believe in, it will literally repay you. Karma is a huge thing. And honestly, the brothers will always look at you and respect you and actually push forward. If you're down, they'll always come back tenfold to actually do and repay you for what you have done. So you're just pushing, to make things meet in the end and actually helping them along the way. And stuff like this is very rare. And I encourage everybody else to kind of push forward with that and actually see the better part of that and helping one another. Because I mean, it's something not to just easy for us to say it, yes, but to actually live through it and then experience is actually the best thing you can actually experience and feel with it.
I love what you're saying because to deny the spiritual part of life is to be like super dead in your brain, right? Like me, I'm a believer in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, bro,
Go,
all
let's
day, every
go,
day. So
let's
it's like
go.
God is right there. He's watching all that I do. You probably feel the same way. You know God is watching you, so you're probably being your best servant, warrior of God kind of thing.
Correct, correct. Because the thing is, it's God will repay you in many ways possible when you least expect it, and I experienced that a lot over the years where I'll do things you can literally contribute, work your ass off as hard as you can, and you don't see results, but that one day just boom, it'll hit you, and out of nowhere you have been paycheck, upgraded, everything has been turning around. You got the girl that you wanted, just everything in fold, the guys you want, you got the respect that you deserved. Just everything falls in line in a sigil order where everything comes together how you want in life. And if you follow these type of things, I mean, it's no bound. You're never gonna lose at all.
100%, bro. So one of the things that also is very cool about like one of the ways that we met up is that we have met up through the same viewership of Fresh and Fit, right? You and me have both met Fresh. You are talking about generosity. I like to use generosity. I've seen Fresh himself be very generous. And that's kind of a Christian trait, it's very benevolent. It's from God to be generous.
Correct.
And I have actually met you being extremely generous. And one of the first things you did when you met Myron on a yacht party was what?
Yeah, so I mean, because I seen this very early on. I always been taught, me and my dad are not on the best of terms, but shout out to him. He always laid down the good foundation and values. He always said if there's something of someone that's higher than you in life, you always want to put the best foot forward every single time. What I've done for Myron and Fresh when I first met them and I first came on to them was I went and I approached myself because I knew this event. They never met me in my life. We spoke online, things like that. But meeting in real life and shaking someone's hand, you literally have to put your best foot forward and actually have the best thing going in front at that time. So I've bought them a pair of Cardi shades. Very, very pricey, but I mean, price has no value for these type of people. There's no such thing as a price tag, and I'm a big believer of that with these people that provide such big value as extensive as they do, there's no such thing as a price tag. I can buy them a house, a Rolex, anything you can give in, and these things don't mean anything to me because the thing is the value and who they are as a person that brings much more light than just an item because these are all items at the end of the day. They're replaceable. You as a human being and genuine intentions and good that comes out of you is never ever you can never replace that with anything, and that comes genuine.
And all this is like very authentic to how you were raised, authentic to who you
Right.
are, authentic to your brand. And it actually led to a really dope viral moment, just you being yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And I when I gave it to them, I mean, it was just everybody went nuts. And knowing Myron, he's very minimalistic, but it's just the thought that he remembers of this being given to me. It's not about the Cardi shades. It could have been $1 million of gold, but it's just the thought behind of what has been given, not of actual item, because an item can be replaced. The thought of giving can never be replaced.
And like the beautiful part of these intentions feel like it comes directly from God through you,
Right.
a warrior of
Correct.
Christ.
Correct,
So
bro.
like that again, being a light of the world is very rare. And I'll say, in my own personal opinion, I've had this thought many times when I've been around you, is like because we have you in the Brotherhood, it feels like we have a Hulk in the sense that it feels like we have a red pill Logan Paul. Because if you know Logan Paul,
Yeah,
he's
he's
really
pretty
on the blue
brutal.
pill side, and
Yeah.
he's trying to like fight with that and stuff. But the things that were very admirable about him in like 2017 is he would fight like a motherfucker to push his brand, to push his content, to get anything done. If anyone challenges him, he's not going to back the fuck down. He will out challenge the challenger no matter what, using the power of his mind to be focused. And to see that we have a red pill one, it's like, yo,
It's top tier now.
winning, my guy.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I really appreciate you, Chris, even for setting that up. It just framing it for the audience so they can understand. Because the thing is, a lot of them, they remember how Logan Paul was and how he came out as a character. And then everything just switched, on end. I mean, that's what Hollywood does to you as in general. But because the people, they forget where they come from every single time when they, touch a little fame, touch a little money, whatever. But Logan Paul has been around. But I love how you structured that for the audience so they can understand really where a lot of the base comes from. And I mean, viewers at home will understand perfectly well on how it, set up from the beginning towards the course of, let's say a 10-year span of how he is now.
So, like, before I get into like professional profile or before I start breaking down your skill sets and stuff, raw and unfiltered, now that we have this, please, Julian, Give us who you are. Talk to us about like young Julian to today. How'd you get so buff? Like, how'd your mentality get so shaped? Give us the true you, brother.
Yeah, so for me, workout has always been a passion for me ever since I was small. I mean, literally from the age of 12, I would like to shout out Bar Brothers. Those guys put me on a very traditional straight path in life. Like you do what you say, and you always have to work out no matter what. Like there's no excuses to anything in this. And I stemmed that from very early on when I was 12. And I always wanted to be, I mean, which guy didn't want to be, the jacked, ripped, six pack, doing backflips, things like that. Any guy always wanted to be that. So that I aspired to be like that. When I was 12, I started there with calisthenics. For anybody in the audience or the viewers know, calisthenics is a very hard path to take because you're only using body weight workouts. Ever since I started calisthenics, I hit like roughly around 18 is where I kind of stopped and I was just too ripped. Like guys, when I tell you I was just too ripped, I mean I could just show you real quick for the audience.
Please show us, bro.
Me at 14 years old, literally just ripped to the core always every single time. So for me, I was like, oh, I'm tired of it. I want to just, get bigger now. And that's kind of where I was at most of the time. And for me to say that is pretty crazy, but that's me right there at 14 years
Pinch
old.
and zoom in for us, bro.
I got you, boss.
This is your time, brother. Your time to shine. Let's fucking go.
This is me at 14 years old.
My boy, bro. If
Can you
I
see
got
that
some
perfectly
cheese in the
well?
fridge. Let me shred the cheese on the abs, bro.
That's
That
what I'm
shit is
saying, man.
fire.
Me at 14 years old, I was ripped and I was always been like that since the age of 18. And like I literally say, in the most humblest way, I was always ripped and I was tired of it. So for me, I wanted to get a little bigger. Around there, I was around 170. So about 18, I started going into weight training and just kind of building up my physique from there. And from there, I started, I had some challenges on the way because it was very different from calisthenics. But me getting that hardship, calisthenics was a very hardship mentality to kind of put yourself in because you're literally just body weight and it's very hard. So as soon as I did everything from weight training all the way through, I've put myself and adapt that same mindset. I had very good mentors in my life. My dad was a very good one. He had a very good, very controversial in some aspects, but he was very good on certain things, not all. My uncle was probably one of the best in life. He always put me on a headstrong mentality and always, same thing, going to gym, do this, do that. And that's where I'm at today. I'm actually 220 right now, and I want to just keep going up and just getting from there, bro. So I health is wealth, and I preach it everywhere I go. If you don't have health, what else do you have in life? Because that's the number one thing you can ask any billionaire, any millionaire. What would you have in life that will prolong you? Health is the number one thing.
So, like, okay, working out since you were young, very amazing, very good, very strong for the mind. What mentalities, and this is very true to Julian, that's going to tie into other things, has working out given you? There's things like brute force, there's things like discipline. What has being a guy who exercise, do you fight? What has it given your mentality?
So fighting is another big one for sure. I love that you brought that up because the thing is, I challenge any young male, anybody that's coming up in just being in the male stage to get into the fighting aspect too and doing the workouts at the same time because it really puts you in a very sharp mentality mindset. That working out for me really helped me frame my mindset in a very different way because the thing is, it shows how disciplined you are. If you're disciplined with what food you put in your mouth, pause, it can be anything else in life exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Because it's just a big discipline factor. And fighting was another big thing because I've done boxing as well too, and I love to do boxing every single time, So that
Yes,
was like
sir.
my biggest part. I loved it. I'll challenge anybody at any time. I have the biggest respect for boxing and just anybody that hops in the ring with anybody, regardless. So that's what really put me on the map to kind of frame my mindset to this day and how it is now with just preaching to everybody health is wealth, and literally just keep on moving forward and never stopping. Because the thing is, this your body is rented at the end of the day. Everything in life is rented. You always have to keep up with everything and always maintain with all of it every single time, and just have that moving forward in life, and you will achieve every single time with your body goals and whatever you need.
Sounds like a lot of discipline. Quick side note, I'll say that when you do move out here to Florida, which is what I'm hoping happens, there's a lot of brothers in the red pill community here that do not have boxing, and they're always looking for a guy to come and like teach them how to stack moves. So you're
Just
needed,
sparring
bro.
in
You're
general
needed.
is very, very nice too. Like even if you don't know boxing, even if you just spar with like me in general or whoever, that will literally put you in a better position than most other people. People look at it and say, "No, I don't want to do it." It's just the very pussy mentality that they have, and they're very back drawn to just because of getting punched in the face. I think it's very good for you to get punched in the face so you can realize very early on what's going on in your face, and you can kind of maneuver and dive. I mean, let's be real. You don't want to be with a girl. Some guy comes up to you and tries to fight you, and you don't know how to fight, and you hide behind your woman. Your woman will leave you right there on the spot, and you'll still get your ass beat. So it's a two lose situations. You're taking double L's there. You know who would want to do?
100%. Yep. And to add to your point, I don't know if you got a chance to meet the guy Benny who met. Yo, shout out to Top G, shout out to Andrew Tate. But
He's
Benny
probably
is
there
a trained
somewhere. Let's
fighter,
go.
and Benny has punched me many times, and that shit hurts like 2 weeks later. But I'll say that when a man gets hit, it feels like it activates your testosterone. So men need to get hit.
100%. 100%. It enrages something in you. The masculine, because at the end of the day, violence is always the answer. Any single time, anywhere you go, you don't pay a parking ticket. For so long, they send you another one. By the time they get you a court to come out, a bench warrant, the cops are going to drag you out the house. That's violence at the end of the day. So at the same time, in life, you got to look at it that way. Like violence is always going to be the end result of anything, just in any altercation. Not saying here to get violent with the police. Always respect the police any single time. Just in general, if you're getting mugged, anybody tries to come and fight you any single time, it's self-defense. Self-defense is the number one thing, and it's always rooted in us to even have that masculine trait to even just getting in with it's a big bonding effect. You get in with your brothers, you go and box with them. I mean, that's the best thing you can do in the world. I love that. I really do see that, and you can really train up on your skills to kind of push forward.
Having this natural understanding of principles at age 26 is very rare. There's 7 different spirits of the Lord. 2 of them are wisdom and knowledge. And it seems like you have been imbued with so much wisdom and so much knowledge. Oh, sorry. That was me. That was me. Don't worry, sweetheart.
I love about
So yeah, it seems like you've been imbued with a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge at an early age. So that means the Holy Spirit is just flooding your mind with knowledge, right? On that note, you actually at this moment kind of remind me of myself at your age, being someone who would wear many hats or hustle a lot, right? Which also reminds me of Joseph in the Bible. If you remember Joseph, he was sold into slavery. And while he was a slave, no matter what he did, the king that was like enslaving him would be like, all these beautiful things come from his hands. All these beautiful things happen to him or come from him no matter what he does, being that it comes from God. Now, in my time talking to Julian, it seems like this guy works, hustles, helps people, is a community leader. Beautiful things do come from his hands. This man makes properties, gets real estate, gets has to do this at a young age, forced into doing it at a young age, and being forced to put his feet to the fire, rises from the ashes, and fucking emerges victorious, right? So now, as we're getting into your actual personality profile, your job profile, give me the hustler professional side of Julian, bro. When did you start working? What was the first things you started doing? And how did you become who you are today?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. So for me, I started, I mean, we all worked at a young age. Any Romanian background individual that you know or who you know of, they always worked at very, very young. For me, I always had, you know, I always wanted to get out and be different because in our community, it's very like a running joke that if you're a Romanian, you do tile. So that's like the number one thing. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, like if you know the Romanian, they're already gonna know what you do because they think, oh, you do tile. So that's like the running joke of if you know a Romanian, you ask them if they do tile. It's
Right.
pretty funny, but I wanted to kind of not be that person. I always wanted to be very different. Um, I was always instilled with hustling every single time. At the age right after I got out of high school, I had two jobs. I was working at the Canadian docks with the US because I live right by the border by Canada, 10 minutes away. And right there, I worked for the docks, Nicholas Docks Terminal, and these guys they were good. They set a lot of values up for me in life to kind of move forward. And I really enjoyed it there. It was really nice at a certain point in time. I was working there and Delta at the same time, going back and forth. So I was working the two jobs there, and I kind of moved into, working smarter than harder because a lot of it was very hard. I would see it like anytime I'd hear these 30-year-old plus guys or 40-year-old, they're always telling me work harder, but with the smartest way into going into any field. So, any single time you get into a field, always work the smartest way possible to get the best return in the end. So I took that literally and I went and I searched and I found s- different jobs that I wanted to go into. So at the point in time when I left those two jobs, I went and worked with my uncle in Georgia as, just helping him out because he used to build a lot of Chrysler dealerships for a big GC in Georgia. And I went to go assist him and help him. And from there, I had a lot of ideas spark. The GC kind of gave me a lot of game on what to get into, what's the best trade. And he recommended me a niche trade coming back home to Michigan was fire protection industry. Literally the fire protection industry for many of people who do not know that I'm in. I'm a fire engineer, and I do a lot of inspections, a lot of, testing and replacing devices and just anywhere, anything that's fire life safety. With high occupation places, they're always going to need it per code. So he recommended me to get into that because it's such a niche industry where a lot of people need that. And once I got into that, it went up from there. Literally, I am going into the field. I'm dominating the field as we speak now into just, creating very good safety for all these businesses all the way around and just getting everybody the life safety that they need for all these places. Any single place you can think of, Targets, any mall centrals, any airports, just everyday, places that people go to on a daily. And that's kind of where a lot of my occupation lies now, and just there's just the upward trajectory from here on, what to do next in the industry and moving with that.
Do you
And
have any other miscellaneous skills or side hustles like you
yes,
like sell stuff, flip things,
yeah, so
buy homes and shit?
yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, I got a little sidetracked, but thank you for bringing that up.
Keep going,
Yes,
brother.
so I did buy my first property at 23. I wanted to mention that, and I doing it very young. It was very, very just eye-opening for me because the thing is, nobody in my family has ever done that before, and I wanted to be the first in order to move forward with that. And real estate was another big thing on my list that I wanted to accomplish, and that was kind of one of my side hustles that I really wanted to get into was the real estate purpose of it. But I have a very big understanding how to bring all these contractors together. That is my one of my biggest niches that I really enjoy, and bringing all these contractors together. So my biggest part on that is I very early on I understood and I made a lot of connections with a lot of contractors back in the day where literally if you need anything from concrete to tile to plumbing, HVAC, you name it, anything that goes into a house, I can bring you these people at the best price at the best cost, no matter what. And these are my little things and niches that I have on the side that I can provide as well and bring up that I had and I established in myself just going through life and just meeting certain people from different jobs and different criterias of life and going through fasts.
So shout out to Myron and Fresh from Fresh and Fit, Chris J. Bills, and Big Mo because Fresh has a mentor named PJ. And for this skill alone, you having the ability to bring contractors together kind of reminded me of why I started saying you're definitely a future PJ. In fact, your ability to do that is why I start thinking this dude is gonna buy buildings or shit, some shit one day, right? That's literally why I went downstairs and started grabbing all these. Like, bro, you're looking at a
Bro,
place to
Chris,
live and buy. You feel me?
you're amazing, Chris, bro. Thank you so much, bro. Yeah,
And
it was always a skill I always wanted to kind of keep forward because real estate, I mean, that it is the oldest form of, wealth, creating wealth, and it's always going to be here. Everybody's always going to need to stay somewhere. Literally, housing will never go away. That's one business that will never ever go under, no matter what.
so creating wealth, and then what about future thoughts, right? Future plans for yourself. You've definitely been like we talked about, dabbled in like maybe being interested here in Miami or maybe being interested in Dubai. What are some of the visions for the Julian brand that you see?
So my vision is moving forward. I first want to get around a lot of like-minded people where you're at, Chris, currently right now. Michigan's very nice, it really is. But what I've noticed in Michigan is, a lot of people are very just, as soon as they reach a net worth of where they're at, they're just closed off after that. It's not really the biggest, I would say, for business. I may be wrong, I may be right, I'm not sure, but just me living here and understanding a lot of people where they're at. A lot of people don't. You have to make it make sense to them to spend the money on certain things or just a vision that you'll have. So, with that being said, Miami is going to be the move for me sooner. I would love to push this year or next, but this year for sure to come out to Miami and stay around the guys because Miami Capital there in Florida is literally the hub of business. Literally everybody just comes together, and if there's an idea that can be done, you literally have five, six other people in line that'll love to hear your idea and kind of revolve that in their everyday life to see if it makes sense to them. And I mean, Miami is going to be the start. Dubai is going to be the next. Dubai is going to be the other capital there where I would love to kind of move there and just be free. Dubai
Yeah.
is literally the city of just freedom. And I say that proudly. I don't know anywhere else literally in the world now that you can go and just be free. And I think Dubai is literally the place. Miami for sure, 100%. But just these two are literally on top right now. I just don't see anywhere else right now with everything going on to be where they're at right now.
For you as an individual, one thing that I'm already seeing as I'm like writing down information about you here, your ability to unite contractors at the flick of a hand is such a valuable skill that you can apply out here to Miami. Because let's say that you were focusing your content like I am, right? And my content is focusing in on sales, advertising, marketing, getting people up in their money, e-commerce, speed dating, networking, and all those things. You, with your skill set, could just erect anybody out here to do exactly what you need them to do. And you can literally just having that skill, you can go to Brickle, you can cold approach or network a couple bros, and be like, hey, I need XYZ, and we're gonna do XYZ, and I'm selling XYZ, and I'm assembling you for XYZ, and they'll fucking do it. And then, the same thing with ladies. If you're like, ladies, I need 6 of you or 7 of you or 8 of you to come into my house and enjoy me, they'll fucking do
Let's
it.
go, man. Come through. There's always more to me to share for. So we're good there.
All right, so now I'm gonna get into some of the meat of like the conversation. You feel me?
Okay.
Where's my boy Julian at right now? I'm thinking it's mostly fire protection and retrofitting fire protection stuff. Also, by the way, we're on fire, bro. We're on fire right now. We need you, bro. Get over here.
Is it actually on fire?
No.
I was about to say, let's go. I'll be there in a heartbeat. Let's go.
Bro, yeah, it's I'm gonna CGI that in. There's fire. Julian, come.
Miami, I'm coming. That's it.
Fuck yeah.
Let's get it, man.
So, like, okay, you're in the fire protection business right now, 26. Tell us what it's like. I always tell people you don't have to use real numbers. You can mask the numbers, you can use real numbers, but you can start talking about what it's like, what you're making, what you're looking to be making. Where and then that kind of conversation kind of leads into like diversifying a portfolio or bringing in a business or building up a business and all those things that like come in with being a man, right? Give us the like lowdown. What is it like being in your current position?
So in my current position, I will say it's very good where I'm at, but with fire protection, there's always something new evolving every single time. So with that being said, you could be you'll let's just give an example. Um, you could know everything about an Edwards panel, an EST panel, and Edwards will come out with something new the next following 6 months. So everything that you think you may know with these other panels, there's always something else coming out. already and it's new, so you have to brush up on that as well. Where I'm at in my current position, I'm not satisfied at all with the life. I'm never satisfied. Even with my body now, 220, I'm not satisfied. So for me,
Sure.
you know, I'm never satisfied. And I think that's just, in life as men, we are never satisfied because that's how the greats became the great. They were never satisfied. Genghis Khan was never satisfied from conquering all of Asia, damn near. So for him, he wanted more. So as that's just us and men, that's literally what we have in us. So I'm never satisfied, and I don't think any guy ever is. But with that being said, I'm in the six-figure range where I'm at, but I feel like I'm at a plateau with, just because it all depends on the company of who you're with. So you're at the will, at the mercy of their control and what they say and how the company's moving and they think. And we all know the corporate ladder. The corporate ladder thinks that you're here, so they're going to keep you there for another amount of X of about a years, and then just kind of keep you there and move you up gradually. So with that being said, I mean, if you do start your own business in the fire protection, it is very costly, hugely costly into doing it. But where I'm kind of shifting my mindset now into getting into is the consulting side of it.
Yeah.
So shout
Okay.
out to Biotin. Biotin kind of brought me up to this, and he told me about, hey, instead of you actually doing it, how about you consulting it to people to get into the space? Let's just say get into a convenience store, point out what's a deficiency for them, so when they do actually input these systems in, they can actually save, a lot more time and money and headache from the city and whoever it comes, and just any inspector, and kind of have that peace of mind going into it. So I'm looking to kind of shift my mind towards that and get into there. My other plans that I would like to get into is just, have and connect with a lot of these people in Brickell, for example, and just anywhere in Miami or Florida. Get a contractor, just everybody, a contractor hub, just to kind of have a list of names and whoever what does what. A bricklayer, concrete, siding, windows, you name it, everything. So I want to have that as well on my end. It's gonna have like a huge, like a yellow books, a digital yellow books for everybody who needs something, and kind of just help out the GCs, because I can only imagine the GCs down there are probably, people are quitting left and right, leaving, not showing up, always giving a hard time. So I want to fill that void for GCs that they have, and I can already see that issue on that end, and just kind of moving forward to kind of help out on that side of things.
I
Next on
yeah, keep going, keep going.
Oh no, I'm sorry, boss. So yeah, next into that, I'm looking into credit card processing payments to kind of move forward into that realm, and just kind of getting into that to kind of see on where to kind of move forward into that space in a restaurant space. I'm very familiar with Michigan's market and who to go to, and if I can, launch that towards them and help them out to mitigate their costs and credit card payment costs, then that will be a big win for them and just a big win for all of us, back and forth.
So it is very, very rare that I meet a bro who's in the six-figure range at your age. That's extremely rare. So, like, look at me living out here, right? I was paying about 1750 at one apartment. Dude knocks on my door, says, "Hey, I'm taking it back because I want to start an OnlyFans agency." I'm like, "What the fuck, bro? I just moved in."
No way.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I made a friend over here, and she's been very sweet to me, and she let me move in. I'm paying only $1,000 a month to live out here in Miami, right?
That is a beauty.
So from my perspective, when I hit a very similar range, I'm like, well, I can afford to be out here, and a rent is only like $1,200 a year. Very small to the larger pile of money, right? So let's say that you find a situation like that. I'm really glad that you talked to Baitang. He really said, yo, open up a consultancy, because you are at a level of mastery where you need to be able to give that to other people, which is really good because you're really young. And because you have that now, it only makes you way better as you get older. It's literally sharpening you who you are now. Now, let's say that you moved out here, and while you're doing the consultancy, let's just say that you have it, right? Like you're teaching people how to do fire protection out here in these buildings, right? And as you know, brother Chase, he's already in the credit card processing thing, and he does not have as much time as you would have at this moment if you moved immediately, right?
Right.
His time is currently wrapped up in an IT job. So his IT job only allows him to have like a weekend here and there where he was able to secure a deal or in the process of securing a deal. But regardless, you have a sharper mentality for this because he's kind of stuck in a six-figure position. But you have the building stage. This is very rare to be 26 and have the ability and the fire to want to be building. So if I was in your shoes, I would see myself as, look, I'm gonna move out here for the lowest price possible at one of these fucking places. Two, I'm gonna open up a consultancy. I'm gonna build it with Biotech. I'm gonna talk about it with Chris, and I'm gonna tell you about consultancies that I've done as well. And as soon as I got out here, as soon as I collect clients, as soon as I have them like listening to me and doing what I need them to do, I will also at the same time while I'm hustling install these credit card processors inside restaurants all throughout South Beach, all throughout Fort Lauderdale, all throughout Delray, Deerfield, and Boca Raton. I'll also put it in restaurants, hotels. Nobody will understand how to sell this better than me, Julian, because only Julian knows how to deliver offer language that demonstrates the value. So you walk in there and you say, you know, my credit card processor is going to save you the most amount of money, will give you the biggest amount of return on your time, be the easiest and most simple transactions, give you the best experience as my customers, while you're giving the customers the best customer experience. You know what I mean? You're delivering ultimate value, and nobody can deny the ultimate value of what you're bringing to the table. So, like, I'll tell you a little bit about, like, I opened up an agency, which is close to a consultancy, right? I was doing e-commerce and building out websites and building out Shopify websites and selling the Shopify products and saying, you know, here's a product where I sell it for, or it costs a little bit, but I sell it for a lot. But products have like a lot of fees built into it, and you got to understand that a lot if you're going to do that, right? So in Boca Raton and other places like Riviera Beach, I would collect clients, and you can charge, let's say, like a high spending client 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, have $20,000 coming in a month. That's like the people who are like ultimate businesses, but I was selling packages. I came up with the packages myself. So one package is like the high end package, 5,000. Lower end packages are like you just want the website 1,000. Smaller packages would be like, hey, you just want an Amazon book, and the Amazon books do scale to six figures. I'll help you get your book on Amazon and do all the things that you need, XYZ, right? But see, I came up with packages, collected a client, and secured client based on client need. That's exactly the kind of life you would be taking on in doing a consultancy. So you're coming out here and you're looking for leads, and there's many ways to collect leads. I collect leads through Google Ads, word of mouth, hustling, selling myself. You have a brotherhood, which is like amazing.
Always,
You can
bro.
just start reaching out with a business card, letting the boys know. You can change your entire Instagram to be that business and just reach out, boost posts, let them know. Give me your thoughts on what everything I've said so far and how that applies to your mentality.
So everything right there is literally spot on to what I literally always talk about, just within the brotherhood with everybody around us. Literally that right there is I don't know how else to say it, Chris. You literally took everything that you said and literally said it the exact same way I would say it. Right there on then is spot on because if you don't have that and just moving forward with the business side of it, especially with me, because I always seen it like I never want to be the guy that turns 40 years old, waiting for retirement, 50 comes, 60 comes, I'm still waiting for retirement. I opt out of my 401k because I don't believe in 401k. I hated that stuff. For me, I told my company, uh-oh, sorry about that, boss.
You're good, Big G. Take a
Uh,
moment.
No, someone's just trying to call me. But let me go right back to it. Sorry about that. Let me decline this. Sorry. So, I opted out of my 401k. I told my company, get me out of this. I don't believe in 401k. They looked at me crazy. They started calling me, telling me, hey, we match 10% of 401k. Get in here and put your money in and you wait until you're 60. By the time you're 60, if you're on this trajectory, you can be a millionaire. I mean, that's dead. I
You will be.
hate to say it, but it's so dead. Who's gonna wait until 60? Life doesn't have a waiting period for you. Anything could happen right now in any given moment. So for you to sit and dwell on, I'm gonna wait until I'm 60 to be a millionaire, that's old thinking. That's never gonna happen. And you have to act now. Act now when God is giving you every chance, breathing moment that you wake up every day to do something. Act now when you're young, act now even when you're 40 or 30. Just keep on going because that's the best thing you can do. Chris, you brought up very good points where, once you accumulate all these people and all these to have all these packages on hand. For example, I'm the best card, the credit card processing payment here. I can save you money here. And another thing you could do is make it very user friendly more than the other system that they previously had. So with those points that you brought up, I mean it's literally, you know, I have no words really on what to say, but you literally topped it all off in a perfect
I
in
appreciate that, bro. Because in general, what is happening now is that, like, I know Julian has an Instagram, but I'm imagining Julian doesn't have a brand at this moment, right? But if you, which you will, be making a brand, I always teach brothers, if you're going to offer a menu to people, always have it in your mind that your offer language is going to offer small, medium, large. Every business from the dawn of time, you go to fucking Burger King, it doesn't, you go to Tires Plus, you go everywhere, they always have small, medium, large. And that is a basic business structure that will allow us to have a foundation to grow upon for your brand, right? So, like, I'm sure you've thought of this in your head. What do you think your brand would be? What do you think your brand would be called? And what do you think your brand would be offering to people in terms of the two ideas? There's two hustles going on, and that's cool. We're having a convo. The payment processor brand and the fire protection brand consultancy. Give me some of your ideas, man. What's going on in your head?
At this moment in time, Chris, I don't really have maybe like a set structure of where I want to be at. But I kind of came to kind of have something maybe put all together, kind of like an enterprise, everything all in one, in a sense. Maybe I'm looking at it that way. I don't have a clear trajectory or path right now on where my brand wants to be. I want to give a really big shout out to PJ because PJ, I wanted to kind of start my own rental company, my car rental company here, exotic rental car company here in Michigan. And shout out to PJ because he told me flat out, fuck no, don't do it. I'm gonna save you right now a lot of money because it's a lot of headaches involved. And the main thing that really drives this business away is the insurance side of it, the commercial side of it, the insurance. Because of literally, if you get in an accident, one, two, three, four times, the commercial company is going to drop you right away. And just the insurance side of it, it's very a lot of headaches. And he told me just look into other things that you can do than opposed to that. Use these as like toys to move in life to kind of attract to the other brand. Because if you come into this Lambo, people are going to naturally ask you, what do you do for a living? So use that car to market your brand of what you're doing besides trying to rent it out, because I mean, renting out is a very good business. I know a lot of guys that made a lot of money into it, but I just believe in Michigan's side of it. It's just wouldn't work just because people take advantage and they treat things like this like trash. At the end of the day, they don't value these type of stuff, these pieces of artwork. So for me right now, I'm still working. I'm still talking with all the brothers to kind of formulate a plan on what to do to move forward and kind of have something, a brand to kind of spark together. So we'll be in talks for sure, Chris, and kind of get some more intakes here on months coming on.
So you kind of again are reminding me of Joseph and the Coat of Many Colors, right? Like he looked very well. He looked like a king. So let's talk about Fresh for a second, right? Me and the boys, Kent and all them, we are walking to the Fresh and Fit event, and Fresh sees us walking, and he's like, "Yo, yo, no, it's over there." But when he pulls up, he's pulling up in his Mercedes and shit, and
Yep.
he looks like the brand, and that's cool. So with PJ, PJ might not know you as much. I might know you a little bit better than PJ,
Correct.
unless you showed PJ the photos in your phone of all the
Nope.
development.
No,
Okay,
not at
so
all.
he might not know that. So here's what I'll say. If you need to do this exotic car rental thing for passion, That's one thing.
Right.
If it's an itch that you need to scratch, that's one thing. I get that. That's like a hobby. You need to say that I did this accomplishment. I dominated in the very rare resources area because I can and you can too. There's that. But also, he's probably looking at it from the dollar bill sign, exchange of the medium of money. So I was just talking about that with Patrick yesterday, right? I'm saying, Patrick, look, if your medium is Turo and your business is transportation, it doesn't matter. Like we're figuring out what you want to do. And if you want to put more money into the Turo business because you have an excess of money, you'll be able to scale this. So for me, the medium has been products. For me, the medium has been services. Now for you, you're let's say that you're just gonna put the we're gonna just put the exotic car thing over here to the side. Maybe that's an itch you'll need to scratch, but it doesn't mean that you can't make yourself an aesthetic king, like an aesthetic conqueror of things that we haven't done.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. Like it could still be done. It's just not right now in my time frame. Like I think my capital has to come up a much higher, and then I can do that because I have something to show for and something I have the proof in the pudding behind it. So I see where you're coming from with that. So probably PJ was just saving me from trying to come up from 0 to 100, in that sense of things, because he probably wants me at 100 to come up to 1,000.
Right,
So
right.
I get on that aspect of where he's coming from with that.
So now, right, between me and Biotech, there's two very special areas that we specialize in, right? I specialize a lot in structure and systems. And then he specializes a lot in the building of the websites and making that more automated. So, what is a structure? What is a system? A structure is you walk into the burger restaurant with no burger. You give me money. I make sure you have the best experience. You get all the burgers, fries, and Coke. You leave fed. That is a system, right? So, like a gumball machine, you put in the quarter, you get the gumball, you get all that shit, right? So, for you, your thing is retrofitting fire protection and getting client acquisition. Right now, a side note, I'm in a place called community acquisition. I don't think that's been coined or phrased anywhere, but I'm really about building community too. That's like a whole other side note. But now let's talk about a system. If you came to Biate and you said, Biate, look, my brand is called the Fire Protection Boys, right? And we have small, medium, large. You buy small, we can scale small. You buy medium, we can scale medium. You buy large, we can retrofit large. We could put all the fire protection stuff in your building, your office. We could pre-plan all your fire protection. We could come and check you in every 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. We could always do maintenance on your stuff. We could always make sure that your stuff is working fine. You can always get me on the phone. If then you have that system down packed, Vita is going to jump for joy and say, "Holy shit, he knows what he's selling." So because I understand his package, I could build him anything, any social media brand, any website, and make it more automated. And then a guy like me can say, okay, now that I know what you're selling in these packages, guess what? I can spend $1 and get you $5 back because I can advertise this. So now I can take, let's say, Google ads. I can take your small package, fuck that, pause, your large package, pause again, and we can sell that and sell it to all the buildings here, because what's going to happen with Google ads is all of them will only know about your fire protection because we put more offer language in the ad. So because we put so much offer language in the large package, everyone is only going to see Julian first, and they're going to know he's the best at this. And then we'll also do TikTok, but the TikTok videos aren't out here slapping people. They aren't booties shaking ass. The
Yeah.
TikTok videos are kind of like a sign spinner, specifically saying that specifically the conversion to Julian's packages is going to be fire protection, fire protection, fire protection, payment processor, payment processor, payment processor. So what's going to happen is that your focus is scalable. So that's why we're having this conversation now, to develop that brand, to develop that offer language, and to focus in on what you're going to be delivering to the world that's so valuable that businesses and banks want to give you business cards. They want to give you loans. They want to give you business opportunities, business cash. You're going to have a fucking Lambo just from that.
True. Very true. 100%.
So any
100%.
ideas now that we're opening up the conversation of brand that you've thought of?
Well, first, I think the whole consulting side of it. I think that side will have to be studied a lot more thoroughly, just because fire code is very different in every state. So with Florida being with, hurricanes, sometimes things like that with, heavy rain, I noticed you guys have a lot of sprinkler heads. You guys have more wet, more water-based systems in your guys' building than opposed to fire alarm, the tech side of it. So I noticed that side of it. It may be because I was looking at Miami and that's all I seen, maybe perhaps, maybe not everywhere else, but I just seen it in the Miami side of it. I have to go around everywhere else to kind of find out and kind of get that, in lock. But first off, I have to kind of study the code on where Florida is at because everywhere is pretty much almost the same. It's just a lot of jurisdictions and a lot of cities have a lot of different things how they do, kind of how they push stuff. So it all depends on the city and who voted for this, and the list goes on. So first course of action, I'll have to study Florida code, the fire code, and how everything is proportioned and how everything goes down. Second, I'll have to take that knowledge and actually put it into my own reference and literally study on that so I can provide the best customer service to the customer and actually give them the knowledge they need in order to move forward with their building and see what they're lacking on and see what they're missing or where they could be deficient so the city won't go and ding them anywhere.
Are these codes with the local government, state government? Like, where do you study the codes from? Where do they
So
come from?
so there's a book called an NFPA book that I have currently that I study, and the NFPA book is literally, America wide, but with certain jurisdictions, they usually put some different codes like let's just say Florida, for example, is very different from Michigan because Michigan we have all four seasons. A lot of things are more differently. Florida's all sunny all the way around, so it's a lot different, when it comes to devices or any water-based systems. So a lot of this code has to be studied. You can go online and you can go to the Florida website where they'll have everything. Like any city, you just go there and just kind of read up on their code, their building compliance to see what they need and what they don't need. And you go from there and just kind of study on what to do. But the book that I have is just a general code of everything all the way around on what's standard in day-to-day buildings, because I'm pretty sure they're almost all the same. It's just different, devices need to be placed differently elsewhere than opposed to where we're at. So that would be the first course of action that I'll have to take in order to be very knowledgeable in that side of things to kind of move forward, to jump, to be ahead of the curve.
Kind of reminds me of the homies that do elevator repair out here. That
Yeah,
they have
no,
like a
exactly.
similar like thing.
Yeah, because the thing is, elevator ties in with the fire alarm as well, because there's elevator recall. So, like, it all depends how it sets up. But here in Michigan, if let's just say there's a fire on the third floor, for example, the elevator will recall. It will stay on the first floor. So it'll net because I mean it's just common sense. It won't go up to the third floor where it's fire. The elevator will drop right away to the first floor. So that's why they tell you take the stairs if possible, so you can avoid the elevator because the elevator is just too much by the time it opens up. And if it's recalled, it needs to be addressed and the fire needs to be taken out before it can be back operational. So with that being said, it all ties in with a lot of things, the elevator side of it, the HVAC side of it, the building code, a lot of the water systems tie in with our fire alarms as well. So just everything all the way around, it usually all ties in back to the fire side of things for buildings.
Not until I moved here did I realize, like, bro, if there's a fire at the bottom of this building, I'm fucked.
In a sense, bro, because the thing is, that's why they have the stairs in place, you
Yeah.
know. But elevator recode, according to code, they're gonna put it down to the desirable main entrance. So, like, if like let's just say you're on the fifth floor and there's a fire on the 48th floor, they're gonna drop it down to kind of move it, or they're gonna put it up. That's kind of how it usually works. So it all depends on code and where they usually stem from it. I got to look into code to kind of give you a better definition on where. But that's kind of the generosity, the general side of things, speaking into fire code of what
That's
happens.
super cool, bro. That's why we do this. You feel me? Because it pushes you to be even more accountable and more accountable. But also, I'm getting a parachute, bro. Fuck that shit. I'm jumping off
Hey,
if I
bro,
have
I'm
to.
with you. At that point, if there's a fire parachute my ass off, I will do the same exact thing, man.
Yo, so let me ask you this, brother. Who is the general purchaser or buyer of your fire protection? Is it like businesses? And then if it is a business, what kind of people are buying it?
Just
Like
everybody.
age, group, type of person, everything.
I'll say it's just everybody in general. So I can give you the Michigan's market. The Michigan's market is literally everybody because it's so to kind of give a rundown to the audience on why this is so important and it's such a niche industry because the thing is if you don't have if your building is not in compliance whatsoever up to code with fire, your building is you will get shut down and you will not no longer be operable. The city will come out there, the fire marshal will come out there and shut you down completely. So imagine you having a business and you don't want to comply to the fire codes. The
Right,
fire marshal will get wind of that, they'll hear that, they'll come there and they'll shut you down completely until you comply to fix these problems. If you don't fix them, you will stay shut down until you fix those problems. And
right,
then you can come back online and be operational again. So it's very crucial to businesses as like for example malls, let's say a small business, let's say anybody that like wants to run any big businesses, Microsoft, like all these buildings you can think of, or anybody you go into, like day-to-day work. Say you work at H&M, all these places have fire code everywhere in place, and they have to be compliant because if not, they will get shut down and they're no longer operational. So if you're shut down through the fire marshal, then there's no business being run, profits go down, everything goes down. So it's this business is very niche because the thing is with you're forcing the person to pay you to be
right.
operational. So if you're not in compliance, there's I'm always getting my money no matter what. I don't have to sit and wait. Kind of like construction. Construction, you can do something, and if someone doesn't like it, they can fire you off or kick you off, or you have to wait and things like that. So it's very different. But with the fire side of things, you're very in the side of compliance where you have to pay, you have to be operational, you have to be compliant with all these fire codes, and if not, you're gonna just gonna be cut, from the building until you are operational. So with that, I
Protocols,
mean,
procedures, compliance, very big deal.
yeah, yeah. So just like right now, the apartment you're at, let's just say the leasing, I don't know, the owner of the building didn't want to pay the fire inspector to come out or anybody there anymore. Ah, I'm okay. I want to save some money. I'm all right. Okay. Years go by. The fire marshal gets wind of it. He goes in there and does a routine check to go in and just look at everything. And he's going to ask you, do you have an annual inspection from 2025? No, I do not. Okay, then you'll have this many days until you get this inspection. If not, we are shutting this building down completely. Because the fire marshal, don't get me wrong, they're willing to work with you and actually give you the benefit of the doubt to give you a certain amount of days to get things up to date and compliant. But I mean, if you're just one of those asshole guys that are just like, nah, I'm okay, leave it. I mean, you will be shut down. So it's pretty stupid. But at the same time, it's very, it's needed, because you'll have those people out there that just push it and push it and push it every mile they get.
Stupid people are in business, unfortunately. So
Yeah, 100%.
if I were to hop in the day of a day in the life of Julian, am I selling this? Am I cold calling? How do I get my leads? How do I retrofit these things?
So right now in my side of things, I work for a company and these guys they provide me these leads. So it comes at a cost where they take majority of it sometimes, or it's vice versa. I might find it sometimes. Um, Most of it is always word of mouth, or if I'm on the job in field. So if I'm in the field, let's say I'm at a hotel and I find something that's deficient, I could tell the customer, hey, look, I could take care of this for you. um let's do it this way. We can put it through and send it through the office, and then that would be essentially be my lead. And then the office will kind of go through and kind of push forward to get these parts to kind of go back to that. And it would kind of be like a service visit where we'll go back and correct that deficiency for them. But we'll have everything all in set and done from that end of things.
So
So
that's
you
cool.
hit or miss.
One tip I'll throw you, right? I also was doing this business where I was doing dryer vents cleaning, right? So
Oh, nice.
dry vent cleaning is when you take a drill and you connect a little cord to it,
Yeah,
go
I
behind
seen
to the
those. Yeah,
fire. You've done that before?
yeah, I seen that.
And,
Yeah, but I, done, I do it sometimes to my own. So
so with Florida, right? Actually, a Michigan guy gave me this idea. He was like, Chris, like, look, there's a guy who has a dryer vent company and he makes like $170 in like 20 minutes
wow.
because he just comes over to the house, hops in there, he charges $170, does the dry clean event. We booked him for an hour, but he's quick at it, so it only takes him 20 minutes, and then cleans everything back, shock backs everything, makes it all nice and clean, puts the dryer back, done. So he's like, you should do that, but charge 160. So he charges 170, you charge 160. His entire business would be over just by that. So I did it. And to get those leads, I just sent you a website called Angie's Leads, right? And that's how I did it. So what they would do is you pay them, like they would book the leads for you. And I think they charge you something like $30 a lead if the lead goes through. But it made the business super simple because I remember I would have mornings where I would just like, I was working a part-time job at that time. And I just have mornings where I'd go out there and do the shock back in the drill real quick. And they would hand me like a big tip too. They pay in cash. They paid me like the $200 in cash often. So that was pretty cool. But when I realized that you had to like go on people's roofs and shit, I stopped doing that shit, bro. I was like, fuck that. I'm not with that.
Yeah, no, it gets weird, man. Even for us on our side of things, like you should see it. What sometimes when we gotta go inspect these hotels, you get the dirtiest people, the most nastiest people. Literally, shit is everywhere. Like I'm talking about food is everywhere underneath. Like I don't know how they live like this, but it's very, very disgusting. So with that being said, it's just, it's not for everybody, and especially when you see these type of things, you're like, whoa, you just want to just run away from that type of stuff, and you just feel nasty after.
So, like, if you did open up a consultancy, would you be the middleman to the same people, or would you be the middleman to getting the fire protection equipment and then making it happen? Or like you're gonna be on the phone a lot? Like, how do you think phase one would look?
I think phase one right now, if I were to jump ship right now and come to Miami to do that, I think my best course of action just to get, my feet wet right now would be to connect with these connect with some people that are in the fire industry right now just to speak to them because I've came across some people to kind of be a representative to sell fire to them. So I think if I do that side of things for them, I could just get my feet wet and then give them the proposition to kind of get that and set them up so to help them out. So I think just consulting with a fire alarm company that's more reputable out there for them, it would be my first step. I think that would be my go-to.
Nice.
But who knows if credit card processing payment thing takes off. We'll see how things roll around.
Yeah, I'm gonna set it up where I'd like to have a Zoom call with you and Chase because Chase
Okay.
is very much into that and he understands it very well and he can break things down very well. And between Chase and Roger, yeah,
Yes, correct.
bro, between Chase, Roger, myself, and Baite, you have a winning team. It's
Crazy. Yeah, that's huge right there, man.
You can literally come to us and say, I want to sell anything, and we'll find a way to make it happen. You're just very, I would imagine, experienced in this field, very gifted in this field. You
I could be
understand the
better.
shit.
I will say I could be better, because the thing is, there's always something to learn. And this is how it is in the field. I know a guy, even here back home, like 10 years into this field, and he's always learning something new. And he's like one of the top guys that I know. This guy, man, shout out to him. He's helped me and pushed me through this field so much, and I've learned so much from him. And he's even learning, even still to this day, with him being like light years, like he's like 12, 13 years into this business. And I've learned tremendously through him. One of the nicest guy. And he's always learning constantly in this business. So, I mean, there's always something to learn and I could always be better, but I have a big, broad understanding of what needs what, which is a good thing.
So if you ask me like, hey, yo, can you scale a website to seven figures? I would say, well, you absolutely can, and I know how to get there by using advertisements and spending advertising dollars to sell the fuck out of your product to a very specific audience. So in your mind, if you look at all these buildings here and shit, do you have in your head like, yo, I know, Julian, I know I can make six, seven figures. I can scale that shit up myself. I know that I can do that by my own hands. Do you feel that way right now?
With actually building a building like that or
With fire protection equipment.
okay. Yeah, I just have to kind of get into the right space in the right side of things because with it being such a niche industry, there's
Mhm.
very little people, so that gives me the edge of what I need to get in there first before anybody else. So I will say comfortably, yeah, that 100% that could happen. I just don't see why not. The only person that's holding me back is myself at the end of the day. So I could see that happening. There'll probably be some ups and downs along the way for sure. But at the end of the day, yeah, we can make that happen.
So the way I'm asking it, and I like your answer. The way I'm asking it is kind of like I was talking to Patrick yesterday, and he says, Chris, the travel industry is $1 billion industry. I know that by doing Turo, I can extract a few 100,000, few mil out of this. I know in the e-commerce area, you can get some money out of this. So I know that if I were to maybe get into dog walking, I can't scale that to six and seven figures, right? My question is the fire protection business something that can get you the money that you truly want?
I will say yes. I'll say
Okay.
comfortably yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. If I create a product, like let's just say I create a product that will literally help the fire industry, 100% that's a $1 billion product for sure there. 100% because the thing is it's worldwide mass. So I can comfortably say yeah, 100% and we can get that scaling. Not even just making the product, but scaling the product 100%. And just even the consulting side of it, yes, you can do that. No problem. You just have to have and know the right people in the industry. Once you have that down packed, everything kind of glides a lot smoother than opposed to you going in fresh. Once you're in fresh, you don't really know how things are structured. It's very hard to know because the thing is that with the fire industry, there's a lot that goes into it. There's always that you have to talk to the city inspector, after the city inspector, fire marshal, and it just goes down the line. So you have to have a very good understanding of where you're at and how is fire set up in your jurisdiction, especially in your state and home. So yeah,
So
it could be profitable.
that's really good because not every brother gets the privilege of saying the words that you just said. Some of them are in a backward situation. We
Yeah.
actually had a conversations with some of them that were in a backwards conversation, and we're getting them on the right path now. So it really comes down to me asking you this before moving forward: is fire protection worth your time? Is credit card processing worth your time? Julian's time.
Yes, it would be worth my time just because it will make me enough where I can comfortably, put my money into real estate, put my money into other business ventures that will, excel me nonstop. I will say the credit card processing payment will excel me to the point just enough to make it ends meet to create other opportunities for me and as well as fire protection. And with the fire protection industry, I have to do it very calculatedly. So I have to make it just enough in order to make it make sense with the fire protection industry. So I have to be very calculated with that industry because you have to know a lot of people there and you have to be on point, with all these people to kind of get in there to in that side of things. So it's 100% true. It can make it happen.
So in that industry, you're the big deal. What I'm writing down here is that what you need is to read the codes, get the network, get the clients, make the brand, and sell the offer.
Yes, you got it on point, Chris. 100%, man.
Bro, I fucking love this because,
You got
bro,
it on fucking point, boss. Holy shit. Damn, dude, you're good. You're too good, boss.
literally, bro, if you came to me and said, "This is what I want. This is the kind of guy that I am," I want you to say, "Yo, listen, menu, 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 small, medium, large, baby. What
We
do
got it,
you want,
boy.
motherfucker?" I'll come today. Book that shit right now. Because when you do these things, right, and you have them, what's gonna happen is it's just gonna be like me and Baite will be like putting it in everyone's face. Buy Julian's offer. Buy Julian's offer. Buy his fucking menu now. Buy his service now.
Buy it now. That's
Yeah.
it. So I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, it 100% it can happen, man. You know, it's just you have to be very proactive on it and just very, all the way through, with everything into it and just a nonstop pace into it.
So you're a fitness guy, you're in the gym, you're working out, you got your bros, you got real life, and you have your real job. How many hours a day do you have to dedicate to doing these five things that I just talked about so I can keep in check with you? How often do you have to read the codes, get the network, get the clients? Of course, I'll help you. You say, Chris, drive over here, help me find a client. I'll help you, bro.
Thank you,
Pick
Chris.
the brand, sell an offer. Like what? How many hours in the day do you believe that you have to dedicate to this so it can start?
So what I'll need to do first, because I currently work two jobs now, so I work about 80 hours a week. That's kind of where I work, and with the fire protection side of it,
Right, 80 hours
it's
a week in a full-time job is 40 hours a week.
hold on, no, yeah, so yeah, there you no 80.
You work two full-time jobs by the hours, my boy. A part-time job is 20, a full-time job is 40. Julian is on maximum, Maximus.
Yeah, bro. Well, it all depends because the thing is, I make it because my main job is where I work more hours. So I work almost to like 70 to 65. And then my second job is kind of like at the restaurant industry where it's 20 hours, sometimes 22, sometimes almost 30 hours a week. Because I do work very late nights, from 1 to 2 a.m. sometimes, I did give up those shifts recently right now to some of the girls to kind of produce more money on their end just because of that, so I can focus on better things right now. But with
Fuck that
my
restaurant. I
time,
want my investment to be in Julian.
yeah, sir, there you go, bro. That's it.
You
So I have to
feel
stay
me?
focused.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, bro. So right now, let me just get a pen. Um, so I will say, bro, for me in general, my time is sometimes it's hit or miss on some days. Because roughly it's usually like 50 to 60, 70 almost hours sometimes that I work a week on my main job. And usually when I come home, I always try to do gym right after, just get it out of the way, get that gym session out of the way, and then come back and kind of focus on other things to kind of brush up on what I'll be having. So most of the time I'll have that time break. Um, I mean, realistically saying maybe 4 hours into the day after I'm done with everything because I'm a night owl and I will stay up maybe 1 to 12, maybe 2 o'clock sometimes, just to kind of get everything up and rolling, to kind of do and push. But realistically, I like to, be on the edge of 12 to 11 to kind of get my sleep and then repeat the same process, But I like to have my days where I like to just, like right now is perfect. I structure, make it happen, make the plan, and just kind of move forward and up trajectory from there.
100%. Right now, you got to tell your girls, come over and make me a coffee because I need
Bro,
a lot of
you're
fucking
not
cold.
lying. I need
It's
to get them
coffee
in
time,
line, man.
baby.
I've been dropping every single one of them here in Michigan, so I'm gonna have to recuperate them back.
Yeah, yo, listen, you can come, you can have my attention, but you got to bring me a coffee. That's it.
That's it, bro. 100%. I've been lacking on that one, so I have to bring them back in order and put them back in par.
So to get the codes understood by yourself, is this like a week long thing, a month long thing, 2 months long? What do you think? How long do you think you need to get them? Like just like I know this shit now.
For Florida code,
Yeah.
uh, so there's a course that I found online. It's 150 bucks. It's like a 14-hour thing, I believe. I'm not, I gotta read into it more, but I guess it's like a certification that they give you to kind of understand. I will
That's a good deal.
say, just judging on the book on what I have here, I will say within a month or 2 months for sure, I can understand that code. To 3 months, give or take, maximum 3 months, to understand Florida code. Just kind of write down all the important points so I can memorize that and keep that on in there in my mind fresh. So 3 months, give or take.
3 months, not bad, not bad. Because like you said, if you had that stuff understood this year and you say on that trajectory, then it just is a matter of getting you to the network clients, building up the brand, selling the offer, right?
Yeah, because another way I was gonna actually think about it too, Chris. I found a job offer out there where there that there I could be a sales representative for the fire field. So I
Okay.
think that's another big win too, because that forces me to be on the job, looking at the buildings on hand, and actually selling these type of equipment, so I can know effectively what to do and what to give them. So if I'm in that field and I get acquire that job out there. I mean, hey, why am I still in Michigan? I can come out next week, if they accept me right away.
I really like that because it just it thrusts you into it. The investment is Julian. All these things are Julian. Reading the code, getting all that shit, it's Julian, right?
Correct.
So if you were out here, it would just be like you're adjusting so quickly, just kind of like when you were forced into making your own house, you adjusted very quickly.
Correct, 100%. Because because a lot of people I showed them the before, and they're like, "Oh, it looks great. It looks okay." I didn't like it. I never liked looking at something basic. For me, I wanted to upgrade it, make it look nicer. Because in my head, I thought about it like this: if I'm not gonna stay in this house for 3, 5, 30 years. You know what I mean? That's not me. For me, I'm gonna sell it while the market is hot. Um, because we could all go back and forth like selling, and sometimes you can rent that out and things like that. But in Michigan here, I'd rather just sell and then go to another location and then rent, maybe potentially rent out that side of things. But for me, I looked at it in a side of, if I can sell this property will sell in a heartbeat because of how it looks. Everything has been done to it. Just yesterday, I changed out the water heater tank. Hero, my brother, shout out my little brother.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah, he
that.
he yeah, he did it good, man.
Good thing.
So
Yeah, Julian's bro.
yeah, Julian's bro for sure, bro. So shout out him, and literally my mindset is, if I'm here for the next maybe another year or two, I'm beautifying the place to make it look good for the next person to come in. Like, yeah, it looks good to me, but I understand what people like. They like the modern side of it. My house, I made it so modern that nobody's gonna ever turn it down.
You
This
down
could
to
be
show
fitting.
us?
Say it again?
You down to show us some pictures?
For sure, bro. For sure,
Bro,
100%.
because like I know what you're talking about, and you're like your aesthetic is on another level. First of all, you have very valuable thinking. I'm doing this on to like the next person. I'm gonna be so valuable. I'm gonna make it so valuable for the next person. But the shit that you actually did, Julian, is king of the hill type stuff.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. So I can show just a preview video of what it was beforehand.
Hold it up to the camera, my boy. Let the people know.
So let me just fast forward to that there. So that's what it was in the beginning. Very basic. Just everybody thought it looked great. Yes, it looked great. The wall looked like a Chick-fil-A drive-through window. We didn't like that one.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A drive-through window. I see that right there.
Yeah, so this is what it was beforehand. Very
Oh,
basic, in my take of it.
yeah.
So can you see it? Is it okay on the
It
camera?
looks great. I see it
Okay.
clearly. I understand it
All right, for
clearly.
sure. So
All
this
y'all
is
viewers, comment. Tell me what you think of my boys transitioning the homes.
this is what it is now. Shout out to my uncle. It would have never been possible with me and him, but this is what it is now.
Now we got the tile, beautiful fridge, golden sink, aesthetic, my boy. Fuck
Everything all the way
yes.
down. The biggest transformation, I promise you,
What
you
happened to the
will see.
Chick-fil-A window? Oh shit.
Oh shit! The
Hey.
wall is gone. That thing had to go. So I made it into a table with a waterfall attached to it. So
Yep.
literal biggest transformation ever.
This is why ladies love you, bro. It automatically looks romantic.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the tile was not cheap, man. That thing was so hard to put down. That thing was crazy. That's the living room.
And I also really like the fixture that's in the at the top of the
Oh, right there, right?
in there. That fixture is such a good fixture, dude. It's like artistic and it's very Miami.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I really liked it because just by me putting it all into it, I said this is what's gonna be aspired because people when they look at courts, they think of it as so expensive. And that's how Michigan market is. So I understood that very on and very early because the thing is I also like I spoke to everybody. They're like, "Oh, courts is expensive, granite is expensive." It really isn't if you know the right people. So that's what I said earlier. I can get these contractors together and I got it at one of the best price. Just by knowing these people and giving them the business to provide that value so they can give me the best price. It's all about who you know. It's not about what you know.
And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, bro. Your ability to do that is like, I'll be honest, bro. I think that's even better than the fire protection thing right now. Because like
I believe
if
it, bro.
there is a
I
time,
said it all the time. You know what I mean? And I kind of looked at it. But what I like about the fire protection, if everything all fails and done, I have that to fall back. And I'm not I'm not a big believer in like plan Bs and all that and whatever, but the thing is it's a very good industry to go back to any single time because it's always there. But like you said and what you mentioned, I really think it really is because the thing is Miami, that's all they crave and that's all they want. They want the aesthetic look. They want and to be frank, nobody helped me in picking none of this at all whatsoever. This was all on me. The tile, the aesthetic, the gold, everything. The shout out Amir, one of my other guys that provided that sink. He was amazing on it. Strictly Sinks. If you guys ever want any sinks, check him out on Instagram. Strictly Sinks, the best. Like literally, he makes the best sinks. So shout out to him. That sink is literally amazing.
shout out to Strictly Sings.
Strictly
So
Sinks.
like, that's something to juggle about and talk about because like I position I if the market demands of me to switch what industry I need to be in, I switch automatically because I look at it as the same way that you look at it with the value. It's like where I will be valuable to whoever is going to return the value back, like logically. So if it is that like Florida is losing its ability to give out normal six-figure jobs, but the medical industry is taking off, and I got my degree in business. Who fuck my degree in business? I'm going into the medical industry. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
So this is something to think about because you have to read for 3 months and you have to abide by the codes and you have to build a network and you have to get the clients and you have to get the brand and build the offers for the fire thing. But at the same time, you're so good at in interior design or building up the houses that these motherfuckers are dying for your aesthetic ability and gift. Because just like when we were at the Airbnb, you see that they'll use cheaper material.
Very
But you
true.
know how to network with people and get the best quality material. So you're already in a top-notch position naturally.
Very
You
true.
naturally have that.
Thank you, bro. Because and that's so cool that you bring that up because the thing is, just even here in Michigan, like people will ask them, oh, why you didn't go with quartz? Oh, too expensive. Why you didn't go with granite? Too expensive. Why you didn't get this? Oh, a kitchen mod is so expensive. It's yes, it is very expensive, guys. 100% it is. But the thing is, if you know people and you can talk to them into giving you the best price to get it done, they will work with you just to make the sale to in order to give you that. So at the end of the day, a lot of people operate in a scarcity mindset where they're like, I'm gonna save, I'm gonna save, I'm gonna save, and then I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? So then again, I mean, yeah, we can make that work. That could be something, probably beneficial for them. I could probably come in, look at their Airbnbs or whatever their house is at, and pitch them the idea. Hey, look, we have this granite contractor, quartz contractor. He can beautify your kitchen just by putting new countertops, sink, etc. Put that all together, and it will one beautify the house. The value tremendously goes up because the number one thing people look at in a house is always the kitchen. That is the 90%. Well, 90% is always in the kitchen or the bathroom any single time. So you
Get her in
always
the
want to
kitchen.
beautify that.
Go back to the kitchen.
Master kitchen every single time, bro. And I know this because the thing is, that's all they want. Let me look at the master kitchen. Let me look at the master bedroom. These are the things where they're going to spend most of their time at every single time. So with that being said, moving forward, if I come in and I preach to them and I show them, hey, look at this price. What is it? Can you afford? What is your top budget that we can beautify your home on top of making it happen in order because you'll get a tremendous value return if you ever want to sell your home as well. So I mean that could work out, bro, 100%. Even that side of things as well too.
So I'm gonna give you the most transparent point of view from like I'm older than you, right? I'm gonna tell you everything that I know, right?
Okay.
You are a gym bro. There is not as many dudes that are as connected to Christ as you. There is not as many dudes that are as fast as you, as smart as you, or willing to get things done like you. Because of that, the reason I said you're a gym bro is like we got to figure out what workout is really going to be the best return for you. Is it? I know if I put 4 plates on a squat rack, you can do it, and I know if I put 4 plates on the chest rack or bench press, you could do it. With
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of determination, you will do it. We
Yes,
just
sir.
got to figure out since he has the strength and the ability and the determination and the wisdom and the knowledge and the veracity to do it. What is truly best for Julian? Because the side of yourself that is so giving and so benevolent and so forthcoming and so loving also needs to be all those things right back to you right now too. And that's why we're catching you at this transition phase to be like, dude, he needs love, he needs benevolence, he needs wisdom for himself too. So like between the homes and your ability to just network, get it on social media, you have all the content for an Instagram right now, brand, or go through another discipline path and go through a longer route. We just got to figure out what is the best. Either way, you can do payment processors. What is really the best for him to commit to get his return on investment for his path?
That is
You're
very
over talented. You're over talented, and you're
thank you,
outpricing
bro.
the market. You are
Thank you,
more
bro.
valuable than the market. So because you're more valuable and because you raise up to the ranks, the world is your oyster. We just got to figure out where to put you, bro.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that, Chris. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Seriously, I appreciate that. I we just have to make it happen. And I mean, my brothers are always going to come with me no matter what, and they're going to get the same exact return that you're giving me right now, the same return on investment. You're investing in me. I want to invest in you right back, always naturally. So I got you, boss, any single time, man. And yeah, I'll love to create a plan and just kind of keep keep this up and going to kind of find out what to push forward to, naturally gravitate. Because I know Miami right now it's huge, it's still building. Everybody they're building massively all the time, so naturally right there is going to be, what you can build. You go into these buildings and you ask them, and kind of find out and network with the GC. GC is the top guy who you want to talk to, the general contractor of the whole project. So with him, you can move and sway, his ability and what to do. Hey, I got this guy. This guy's a lot cheaper. This guy will do a lot better quality, things like that. So that being said, I know the real estate market is really huge in Miami, and that's kind of where a lot of things, not even just Miami in general, just everywhere else. I can imagine everybody wants to aspire to be in Florida, so I mean, that's the vacation hub. That's the number one tourist spot. Everybody's there. So, we'll just have to find out a perfect plan and get it going, and just go from
Exactly.
there.
So like just like I did with brother Patrick, I can give you a list of homework to do and all the checkpoints and bullet points that you got to do, but you're gonna do them and you're gonna do them fast. The
Correct.
biggest thing that I've come up with for you is that there's 4 dudes that I came up with in this conversation: Sean, Manny, Chase, and Cedric. They're in very similar fields, and your homework is to network and talk to them and gather as much information as you can to help you make the wisest decision possible and
Okay.
pray about that. So really, after them, I'm sure you could talk to Fresh, talk to Jay Bills, talk to all of Fresh and Fit. But really, your homework is going to be networking. And with the right networking, I think that's really going to be how you make your extraordinary plan. Because a lot of networking, a lot of prayer. You've got to approach this from the point of I have so much value to offer. I really need to objectively look at where I'm going to put my value, and that's a beautiful place to be, man. You like your cup runneth over, baby. God is making you a pundit, motherfucker.
That's it. Too
Let's
much, too much on
go.
field. Yeah, no, I appreciate this, Chris. Thank you so much for everything. Taking the time to actually, just open me up and actually open what I have to offer. Because at the longest time, I always looked at things like, dude, all right, I have all this, and I always forget it. A lot of things go undone all the time, unnoticed. So for me, it's always like, hey, I know naturally I want to be where you're at right now, and naturally I want to be around the community and the bond. But what else could I do in order to help everybody else? You know what I mean? To kind of upgrade and push, past my limits on where to put myself at. And I mean, this is kind of like a big reflector on what I can actually do and what I can actually push for. So I really appreciate this. Thank you so much,
You're looking
Chris.
at a mirror, homie. You have all these qualities. You have all these traits. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
It just comes down to the environment, like PJ was saying, change your location, change your location.
Very
Like
true.
you're only valuable where you're valued. You know what I mean? And
Very
you
true,
you
bro.
said it a bunch of times. Patrick says in Hawaii that they're so blue pilled that he can't express any business ideas. And you're saying in Michigan that they're so closed off that
It's
they
it's
can't.
it's very 50-50. Like there's red pill guys, but there's blue pill guys. But the thing is, at the end of the day, these guys, once they're at a certain amount of wealth where they think they're good, everybody gets comfortable. And I see this all the time. They always get comfortable. There's not really much of a drive, I will say, in more people than opposed to, you know, I don't know, when it comes to different type of industries. Like I have a guy he's literally the best. I don't see anybody hustle like he does, but he's a promoter. And you know how it is in the promoter game. You always got to hustle. You always got to go ahead and shoot this, get the girls, set this up, this, that. The hardest working guy that I know. And he's literally one of the top tier guys here that I will say that never stops. And that guy, I mean, like if you ever come out to Michigan, I will introduce you to him. He's literally one of the best. Shout out Artie. Artie is literally, man, I'm telling you, he's on next level with when it comes to setting these things up and putting things in perspective. But he's the guy
100%.
for network for sure.
Like, dude, and it's important that we do this because we have a very similar mentality. Because, like,
Correct.
if I was in your position and I'm out there and I don't have a bro to talk to, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, bro. You feel me? And that's one of the first things I told Myron after I talked to him on the stage and I got to talk to him face to face. I was like, I was coming to him like wary, like, bro. It is just so nice that from the podcast we've been able to put together a brotherhood of dudes that think alike. Because I have been beaten down by the blue pill mentality so hard that I
Damn,
can't
bro. I
fucking
can
take it
imagine.
anymore.
I can
Being
imagine.
isolated in your mindset is just tiring.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I haven't experienced that too far often yet, but I do have friends that very good friends. Like they're the best, don't get me wrong, but they're so blue pill retarded. Like I get what you're saying because it's mentally draining. Like you're sitting there talking to a fucking wall, you know? Like, oh my God, like, bro, how do you not get it already, bro? Like, don't be so fucking dumb and naive, you know? So I feel what you're saying, bro.
And then they make you the bad guy at a certain point.
Yep. Yep.
Like, what the fuck?
Maybe I don't think it's gonna be like that for me, but hey, you never know, bro. It's bound to happen. You have more life than I do. You lived longer than me, Chris, so you know, bro. You know what I mean?
It's
And
like jealousy and envy and shit. You know what I mean? Like you're living
yeah,
here and you're living with like a good intention, but their blue pillness pulls down with the envy or the jealousy or the anger. And you're like, bro, I
yeah.
told you how to do what I'm doing. What the fuck?
I it's funny. I don't even say anything to them. I just like okay, like because the thing is, I've tried one time with one person, never worked. And never again in my life will I ever sit down, take my time, explain, and go through all that shit again. Never in my life. Because the thing is, if they really wanted to, they will find out the same way I did. I went through my journey, I went through my path, I went exactly through the same way. So they're gonna find out the exact same way I did if they really want it as bad as I did. So at the end of the day, they're gonna have to find out their own trials and then tribulations and kind of find out their journey into coming into this. Because the thing is, a lot of them are very comfortable. Oh, 9 to 5, done. I'm gonna go to college, waste 5, 10 years of my life. Boom, school, school, school. I promise I'm gonna get 200K, maybe 300K a year. Like, okay, cool, you might get that, but who do you know? Who do you know after that? Nobody's gonna know you. You're not gonna be valuable to society, only to a certain extent because you're in this bubble of your living. Yeah, I'm very important because I have this job. Yes, to your job it is, but
Yeah.
these things are not, you're not outwards. You don't know these people. You can only buy, but you can't buy respect. You just can't, you know? So once you have a first name basis with these people and you understand these things, I mean, dude, once you're there, it's always going up. You know what I mean? You're always up from there. So you can't buy these things. You can't buy respect. You can't buy kindness. You can't buy none of these things whatsoever. So you have to make it and actually create this type of stuff.
You
So
gotta earn it, baby, and
that's
all,
it,
and
bro. You
some
got to
do and
earn it,
some don't.
100%. So this is where we're at, man.
So then, I guess we come wrapping up like what we're mostly talking about here. It's really nice to have a dude like you, who I said is a lot more like a red pill Logan Paul, a lot more
Thank you, bro.
focused, a lot more determined, and overly valuable. Having a bro who's overly valuable and able to give and be benevolent, bro, it's unseen. It's unheard of. You're very special to this brotherhood and to this fraternity.
Thank you, bro. I
It,
appreciate that.
it would be in all of our best interest to find you getting to your best spot and to unlock your maximum potential. And we're gonna do that, and that's gonna happen, and we're gonna make it clear, and we're gonna like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna clip it up, I'm gonna send it out there. People are gonna see it. You're gonna see it. I'm gonna put like things that I think that you should be doing inside the school. I'm gonna switch the school to free and have you sign up on it, and then switch it back to paid. If you could bring any people to me, my boy, I'm down to like
Bro,
educate them.
let's do it, bro. Let's
Let's
do it.
fucking go.
100%, my boy. 100%, bro. 100 fucking percent. Yeah, man. I would love to push that. And I was gonna ask you just anybody in general that you may think that will need a guidance into pushing into certain things. Or
I will lead anybody who is a horse being led to the water, bro. If they really believe that they can get self improvement, if they believe that they can get value, if they believe that they want to change, if they believe that there's something that they can have a come up on, I got them.
okay, makes sense. Okay, perfect. Then yeah, let me just I'm trying to think who would that be? Um
And then also, bro, if you want another episode of Fresh Match, shout out to a Fresh Match. I will only do it if you want to like DM Fresh, be like, yo, we need another episode of Fresh Match. I'll only do it if you're on the episode, my boy.
Bro, yes, yes, 100%, bro,
Let's
100%.
fucking
I'm gonna have to
go.
come in my best suit, bro.
Woo!
Hair back, looking good, bro. You
Yes.
know? No, 100%. I did because I remember when the old people were in there beforehand. I hit them up and yeah, they said they were gonna do it and whatnot and kind of run through with it, but it just kind of they didn't want to go through with it anymore after that.
That's all right, man. It's a new age, new dawn, new era. It's up to the people. And if we demand it, that eventually they're gonna be like, yo, they want it, we gotta give it to them.
Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir. Because I don't remember the first one. How did that go down, the first one? Is it kind of like they'll just bring any random girl and just
That's what we were doing. So the very, very first one, we're just getting people out in the city and putting them together and
okay.
doing guys and the girls. And then it's more curated as we do it because I'm gonna do speed dating through this Zoom. So I'll have like the girls lined in, I'll have the guys come in and have like some speed dating, and that'll be cool.
Oh,
But also, I want the brothers interacting with Fresh and Fit. I want the brothers going on Fresh and Fit. I want everyone to be more community, more driven. I want you closer to PJ.
yes,
You
sir.
feel
Yes,
me?
I really, yeah, he has such good points, man. That literally it blew me away with the things that I heard from him, you know. So that's literally where I want to be and speak to him more often.
And then, in all honesty, bro, like if the real estate thing is so close to Myron, you know what I mean? Like what you're doing is so close to Myron, so close to Grant Cardone, so close to the big players that it's like
Maybe real
that's
estate's
the talent you want to
the
consider, my
answer.
boy.
Yeah, real estate's the answer for sure, bro.
Shit. So then, all right, in a normal day, bro, we got to know because there's not a lot of Julians out there. What does a normal day Julian routine look like?
So I wake up 5 a.m., sometimes 6. It all depends. Yeah, yeah, bro. Because I always have customers lined up where, sometimes they're an hour out. but I give myself that time period where um as soon as I'm up at 6 or 5, I usually come up and prep things for the day. Get ready. I stretch. I try to stretch every morning. Stretching is essential. You'll thank me later, guys, if you pull your guys' back or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I try to stretch and get that out of the way. Once that is done, I put in my location where I need to be. Sometimes it's farther out, sometimes it's 30 minutes. Sometimes it's even more brutal where it's 2 hours I have to drive out to kind of meet these people. It all depends on where usually they set me up to. Once I drive out there, I complete my work, whatever they need, an inspection, maybe something to repair, some type of service change, alarm, anything in general. After that, I have probably like 3 or 4 more other appointments that I attend to. That kind of puts me, it all depends how fast and wherever. Sometimes it puts me at 4 o'clock at the end of the day, or sometimes it drags out all the way to 9 p.m., at the end of the day. So if it ever does that by any chance, I always try to go to the gym. And if I can't make it, I will have to make it up. I like to give myself the week. So I like to do 5 times a week at minimum. So if I don't do it on that Monday, I like to give myself the Saturday open because the thing is, out of people love their weekends, whatever, but the thing is, you got to kind of get in that mindset of, dude, it's work is always going to be work no matter what. So don't think, oh, it's a weekend. I'm just going to take a break. I'm just going to just chill out. No, never that, bro.
Never.
That's
Never.
brokey mentality, bro. Hell
Yeah,
no.
bro.
So work is
Hear
always
that, Noah? I'm talking to you, Noah. Get rid of that fucking brokey mentality, son.
yes, sir. So the thing is, try to kind of put in and incorporate those days for you. You know what I mean? Because I even sometimes even I work 7 days a week, bro. Typically, yeah, every single time. So after that, I go to the gym and then I come home and then I kind of just kind of try to get the place together because I hate having, things everywhere. I like to be very organized and structured because an organized place is literally the best place you can have, just in business and anywhere in general. So from there, I just, check my emails, things like that, check text messages, check the Brotherhood, see how the guys are doing, see what my boy Chris is doing, maybe call him sometime,
Yes, sir.
So then from there, just kind of go through bill statements on what I got to do, what I got to, pay on and things like that, and just kind of get ahead of the ball game. And just kind of have to brush up on certain things that I need to brush up on. Usually code most of the time, or if it's not code, I just go online and just kind of move forward onto different ventures that I need to get into. For example, like the credit card processing payment, get into that, just trying to push forward with that and kind of get myself knowledgeable on what to do next into that field. I always like to educate myself into, different workouts, into what would be a better variation for me and just more further better health for me, what to eat, what to intake. I recommend you guys take beef tallow for your face. That's
Yo, let's
literally the
go.
best
Be
thing.
shallow.
The beef tallow is, I promise you, if you look at my face right now, clear as day, shiny as can be, very healthy, very vibrant. I
Oh, the
promise you.
light looks like you look like Jesus, bro. You look like what you worship.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
Yeah, I get it every time, bro. I get it every single time. So, the thing is, beef tallow is a very, very proven in the 90s. They always used it. And it's crazy to see, them stemming away from that product because the thing is, that's what everybody used back in the day. Beef tallow is the number one supplement, cow's beef fat to put on your face to get that very
100%.
well vibrant skin.
I'll throw in this one piece of information about the cow. God made the animal for us to fucking eat. This like
Exactly.
propaganda is like, oh no, it's not meant for the human. It is meant for the human. It's
It
literally
is.
meant for the fucking human.
Yep.
So a conspiracy that we're dealing with is that pasteurized milk is bad for the humans. Normal raw organic milk is where bodybuilders come from. Raw organic
Yes,
milk
sir.
in the 1950s is the golden era of
Yes, sir.
Olympian bodybuilders, and everyone looks like a soft little bitch because we don't have raw milk.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? In the Romanian household, my dad used to always drink that. I don't know where he got it. I don't know how he got it, but he used to drink that shit all the time. So it was forced upon us sometimes, and that shit smells bad. But whatever is bad and it doesn't kill you makes you fucking stronger. So take that shit. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah. So I'm glad that I wanted to just see if you knew about that because
Yes, sir,
want
bro.
the bros to
I'm
be
very.
strong, buff. Milk will do the raw organic milk from farms can do that. Goat's milk can help with that. And I wanted to ask if you are good at counting numbers, if you believe that you're good at knowing your numbers, because one business thing that I'll teach you or tell you is that the manager or the boss or the richest men know their numbers. And I use ChatGPT to calculate my numbers all the time. You count macros, count your money, count progress in other areas. Is that something like I'm writing down like a profile on you, like things that I need to know about my boy? Are you good at
Same, bro.
writing things down and knowing numbers?
Oh, so for me, it's I don't usually it's kind of different for me to say this, but I don't usually count my macros.
Okay.
It's very, nuanced, and a lot of people will look at me crazy when I say that. But for me, I'm a big believer in just chicken and rice, and I eat that on a very consistent daily basis. Or I add a lot of other meats into it, but I try to always kind of get my protein intake every single time. And if I don't get that, I mean, literally, it's I'm doing something wrong. But I would say counting money is a big one for sure. Knowing where everything goes in and out, you'll never catch me lacking. And oh, I forgot. How did this money get here, or where did this money come from? I know where everything is always coming from and where is it going to. Because for me in business, I know if there's a business account, you always stick to the business account. You never use business account for something personal. Never. So you always want to have separate things for separate purposes. Business goes to business, personal spending money goes only to personal spending money. So you always want to keep all that separate so you can have a track log of what comes in and out. Also for tax purposes as well. If you have everything on one business card that's strictly just for a credit card meant for business, you could take that whole entire transaction of what you've done, give it to your accountant, and then, or not accountant, tax, yeah, accountant, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It could be both. Tax person, accountant. That you can have both in
Okay,
one.
so yeah, pretty much you give it to them. It makes it so much easier for them than opposed to running through the whole credit card statement with personal mixed with business, mixed with pleasure, mixed with this. I mean, it just sucks. So for me, I understand that very well on, and I always know that for sure, and I always like to keep that up and going, and that's kind of where my strong head is at, and from there, I like just keep advancing into that and just kind of keep that same trajectory towards
I
that.
love that because like your mentality of I always will do a little bit better or always learn a little bit more. I'm like that with the numbers. I'll always count the numbers a little bit better, and
You
that's what
have to,
a
you
mentor
have to.
is. It's like kind of like a discipline in numbers, and I can only really track and scale and grow from the numbers. You know.
Exactly. You have to. Every single time you have to just keep being better because we could always be better at anything in life. We could always be better at drinking water. We could always be better at eating better. We could always be better at anything, getting the bitches, getting this, network
Optimizing,
wise, everything, bro.
optimize the bitches, ladies.
That's
Yeah,
it.
let's go.
That's it, bro. So that's the biggest part of it. And I mean, like I went on my last point, we're never satisfied. You could never be satisfied of what you have because that's when you get comfortable, you get lazy, and then you just diminish after that. So you never want to diminish down to that low of properties. You always want to be up high. You always want to keep yourself accountable. You always want to keep yourself up top like I said, everything is rented in life. Always give a maintain. Maintain your body, maintain your life, maintain your health, everything all the way down. Maintain everything around you. Your cars, your relationship. You have to maintain your relationships. Because I can tell you to your face, I hate you, I don't want to talk to you. Boom, that's like done of it. We have to maintain this. We have to provide value with value so we can keep each other on top and have that strong bond.
100%.
Yes,
So
sir.
some of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Chase immediately, and I'm going to set up a separate Zoom call with you, me, and Chase.
That,
Also,
that'll
going to
be
give you his phone number and Instagram. You can hit him up and talk to him anytime. He's a brother.
okay.
Just I think you met him, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so just hit him up immediately, right? Then there's a guy named Sean. He goes by other name is taken on the internet. I'm gonna give you his contact info. Manuel, he knows a lot about the elevator stuff. I'm gonna give you his contact info. Cedric is very deep into HVAC. I'm gonna give you
Okay.
his info so you can kind of parlay some information and get like a good little network going there. And that will open up the door to more networking, more networking, more networking. But I really do believe that you're if I gave you a task, if I gave you homework, you just knock it out, knock it out, knock it out.
Of
But like
course.
the value for you is going to be the brotherhood and the people and gaining the knowledge of what is the landscape of the land, what is the lay of the land like for Julian, and where does Julian belong in this land, and I really think that's going to help you the most. So that's my immediate action item is to get you and Chase connected. I'm going to send you these four brothers. I want you to start talking to them, and then of course you can talk to me anytime, brother. You got
Appreciate
Chris
you,
in your
Chris.
pocket all day, baby. Let's
Yes,
go,
sir.
Pop.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for having, this making this possible and just pushing forward for this. This has really been eye-opening for me, and this has been very something that I can take with me and just kind of run with it, now and kind of have a clear path mentality of where I want to kind of push things. And even if things switch over and change, I mean, this is the beauty part of it, that we have these spark ideas that we kind of come together and sit down and have this push. Shit.
There you go. And if you
So,
ever wanted to like get on a Zoom call and you're the leader and you need to like talk to your uncle and your brothers and you want to like have like a session like a brain dump and you want to like show some leadership, anytime, bro. I got you. You feel me? You got brothers in your pocket to help you make you become the best you.
thank you,
Feel
bro.
me?
I appreciate you, boss. You're amazing, Chris. Thank you for everything that you do, bro.
Fucking legend, my
Thank
boy.
you, bro.
So this is what I'm gonna do right now, right? I'm gonna go see if I can get a second phone at Walmart, a second
Oh shit.
iPhone because I'm banned off Instagram on this phone. I went to go to get a 16 Pro Max and they said we don't even know if that's gonna help you with Instagram. So I'm gonna go see if I can get a second one because I need it probably a new Apple ID. Then I'm gonna be networking like crazy with y'all boys because I need Instagram
Damn.
a
So you really
motherfucker
think
right
it's the
now.
iPhone? The iPhone side of it?
Man, I don't know how to answer the question because we talked about changing out the battery, changing out the back, changing out the serial number, making it look like a new phone too, Meta. But Meta banned my device because of the hacker. So I was like, yo, let me just, I give up. Let me just go get a second iPhone. I can't take it anymore. I'll use that phone for just Instagram.
Man, I think there's isn't there's people for this type of stuff where they can
I went to the Genius Bar and they came to the same conclusions that I came to. Like, we don't know if it's in the software. We don't know if it's in the Apple ID because first they banned your phone number, then they banned your device, and we don't know how deep the ban is. So they said, listen, if
Damn.
you upgrade the phone, if I went to a 16 Pro Max with the trade in, it's only $23 a month. It's just like cheap to get that phone. But they said, even if you do that, we have no guarantee, my boy.
Yeah, man. Wow. Wow. I wish I could help on that side of it, man. I have to.
But not a big deal, bro. I'm just gonna get like a $200 phone from Walmart. It'll be my second phone, and I'll just do Instagram from there. But I need to network with y'all boys and get my marketing and get these clips out there immediately, my brother.
Yes,
You
sir.
feel
Yes,
me?
sir, boss. Damn.
So while I'm doing that, I'm gonna send you these dudes' phone numbers and their Instagrams. Phone numbers first, because I'm not on Instagram.
It's all good. It's all good. We have the Telegram, so we could go from there too.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
make it, we'll make it happen, bro.
And there's like a whole entire Castle Club Miami that I was in originally. Then I need you to meet all those guys too. There's like a whole bunch of them. There's Lewis, there's Andy, there's Carlo. There's a whole bunch of dudes that would fucking love to meet you, bro. It's
Damn,
like
bro, that'd be sick, bro.
the other, like
I
there's
haven't
the
met them
other
before,
20
no?
dudes. What's up?
I haven't met them before, no?
No, no, no. This like they didn't go to the event. They were just like chilling out here. Because sometimes when you live in Florida, it's just like I've been to all the events, I've been to all the celebrities. Let me lock in and focus, and that was like most of their mentality.
Okay, makes sense. Well, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing.
But yo, it'd be really cool. You come out here while Top G is out here. That's
Yes,
what I need
sir,
to
bro.
see, bro. You and the
That'd
Top
be
G, Tristan, Jay Walla, all of
that'd
them,
be
bro.
fucking sick, bro. That'd be so sick, man.
Yo, if you shave your head, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna look like Andrew, bro.
I'll look funny, bro. I'll look so funny.
Like, what color is your Bugatti?
Yeah, I swear. Nah, man, it's so cool that they're there, bro. I think that's such a big power play for sure. Because now that they're there, it really puts a statement on where literally the best capital of the city in the best state in the city. It really is, in America, so
After being locked up and not able to travel, the first thing that these boys did when they could travel is go to Wynwood. Exactly where I took y'all boys.
that ass.
That's dead ass, bro. The first fucking place they went was Wynwood, exactly to the places where I had taken y'all boys.
Wow. Oh, what place did they first go to?
One of the most notable ones, it's a place called like Sukura Tea or some shit.
No.
And they had their expensive cars parked out there in front of there. And it's like a tea spot. They just went there. Bro, I took y'all boys there. You walk past it.
Wow, bro, that's insane. I didn't know Wynwood is gonna be like that, bro. Holy shit.
Lit motherfuckers do lit motherfucking things. And that's
Yeah.
exactly where these boys went. You feel me?
Wow, bro, that's insane, bro. Because I see Jay Waller staying and he went somewhere else. I wasn't familiar where that was at though.
Yeah, Waller's huge, bro.
He's fucking huge, bro. I have a picture with me and him standing next to each other. Because I met him at the last yacht one. It was so cool, bro. So
That is
fun.
good. That's really good. If you have any way to connect with him, be like, yo, I'm coming down to Florida. Where's you and the Chow G at? We got a link.
Yeah,
Let's
bro,
really do.
seriously,
Yo,
bro,
I feel like
seriously.
a new we got the Trump presidency. There's some things that we got to fix there. But we got Trump, we got Fresh and Fit, we got the Brotherhood, we got Andrew Tate.
Bro, this
We're
4 years
back,
is gonna be
baby.
amazing, bro. I cannot
It's a
wait,
new
bro.
motherfucking era.
Yeah, it is, bro. 100%. I cannot wait. Seriously. This is just the beginning of everything starting perfectly where we were at. And I can't wait for it, bro. It's gonna be literally amazing.
This is our first official conversation, but yo, shout out and cheers to 100 more, bro.
Bro, I can't wait, bro. Seriously, boss. Thank you so much, Chris, for everything, man. Seriously.
No problem, my guy. So look, I'm gonna sign off the recording. You and me are gonna chill for a second before I sign off.
Okay, for sure.
Yo, a shout out to all of the Brotherhood. You know what? I'm gonna shout out to the other half of the Brotherhood. While I'm looking that up, is there anybody that you want to shout out?
Yes, sir. I like to shout out TC. I like to shout out Bites, and I like to shout out Leroy. Leroy was another guy that really helped me and push certain things into crypto. Fresh as well, Myron and Bills and Mo. I like to shout out all those guys. I mean, there's many more of these guys to shout out to, and perfectly you too, Chris. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you so much for everything. But all these guys here, I mean, honestly, they just pushed in a whole nother realm. I mean, just this side of things was literally the best. So I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for everything and just inspiring me to be the best I can be every single day. So thank you guys for all of it.
100%. So, of course, first and foremost, shout out to the boy Julian for hopping on the call. You feel me?
Yes, sir, bro.
That's the
Thank you,
most
Chris. I
important thing here
appreciate you,
today,
bro.
baby. And then, of course, shout out to brother Bruno. Shout out to Chase, Manny, Sergey, Carlos, Otis, Pablo, High Demand Tez, Drew, Eduardo, Lewis, Andy, Joseph, other name taken Sean. What's up, Sean? OG, baby. And of course, brother Beck, aka Zod. Yo, we got an unlimited brotherhood, bro. Between yesterday and today, I've shouted out over 50 people. We got 50 people at our fucking fingertips, bro. The world is unlimited for us. The red
Oh,
pill
we
is here to
have
conquer.
the huge, bro, everything. We just can't lose, bro. Never. Just can't lose at all. It's
Amen, brother.
impossible.
So for all y'all that are watching, me and him are about to sign off. We're gonna chat for a second in our own private sidebar. But listen, if you want to get in the revenue mentor, go ahead and sign up. Julian, I'm gonna sign you up for free. If, but the rest of y'all, if you don't know me, you don't have to pay. And but don't worry, we're gonna give you excellent value for your money.
You guys are missing out. If you guys are not in here, regardless if it was even free or I had to pay, regardless, I mean, this is literally an eye-opening opportunity that I've took, with Chris, and Chris has gave me the biggest and the most value up front that anybody has ever given. So I really encourage you guys to really sign up and really explore the opportunity here because it's here for sure. Like I said, experience it and you will actually understand on why we preach and push this stuff so hard. So, shout out to Chris. Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate that.
Amen,
Thank you,
baby.
bro.
Thank you, brother man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Pause.